Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. You're watching Ken's Cuts. Thanks so much for stopping by in this fun-filled Sunday episode. It's a beautiful day here, Central New Jersey, mid-September. Ken is a weekend warrior, as I always say, and I got big plans for today. Got a lot to do and not so much time to get it done in. But I wanted to take a minute, talk about the month of September. It's been crazy. August, I had a birthday delivery of silver maple come in. Then I had 2 loads of oak come in from my buddy Mike Maloney through the tree service that he works with. And then over Labor Day weekend, I had wild black cherry and mulberry offered to me on a Saturday. Wayne was out cutting and he said, "Hey, I can drop this off." I wasn't even home. I was at a Labor Day cookout. And I said, "Absolutely, you can leave it on the blacktop road." Well, he missed that part, and he brought it in and left it next to the other piles that were already here. And they got dumped and inadvertently rolled out onto the lawn. So I had to scramble to get those cut up the weekend prior to going away for Hope. Hope was an absolute wood fest. We killed it. We literally slaughtered 100 cord of wood. We got everything processed. Everybody has done the math, and there are estimates from the low 90 cords to as high as 110. Guys are doing their own math. I'm estimating 101 cords, and I did a video last weekend talking about Hope. And that weekend, obviously I was not getting anything done here. So stick with me for a second. I'm going to flip the camera around. Actually, maybe I'll just flip it from right here since I've got you on the selfie stick. So that silver maple, I was able to get some of it split up. I got it all bucked and moved into place. And it was stacked up in front of the AXIS, begging to be split. So I took a PTO day yesterday and got a bunch of it done and finished off the last 3 or 4 rounds this morning. So behind me here are 2 monster stacks of silver maple. They got to go almost 6 feet tall. And the unfortunate part is this stuff is 35 to 38% moisture. So I've marked it. I write on the top pieces on every stack. You can see the silver and 825. The new stack right over my shoulder is silver and 925. And then off on the other side, we've got the balance, because I needed to leave a little bit of room to be able to get to it. So over here, let me flip you around. So over here is the extension of the silver maple pile, and I've got it labeled. The back stack is at least 4 feet tall. There's a middle stack here. Everything's cut at 16 inches. And then the front stack, these are my short pieces. They're all 12 to 14. And I've got everything labeled. Silver maple, 925. Like I said, I marked the top of every piece. So there's damn near a full cord right there in silver maple. When I was splitting that stuff, the rounds were up to 24 inches in diameter. Literally 3 rounds would fill 2 of my 8 cubic foot wheelbarrows. And then I would have to shut the machine off. But without heavy equipment, that's what you got to do in Ken's Woodyard. So we're going to do a quick walk around. Like I said, some of that mulberry and the wild black cherry had rolled out onto the lawn. So I've got all this stuff bucked up at 16 inches. There is a respectable amount of wood here. That's all mulberry, and it's turned red on the end grain already. Those of you that don't use mulberry or deal with it, when you cut it open, it's like a mustard yellow. And in about 3 days, 4 days, it turns burnt orange on the ends. So there's 2 stacks over there. I've got some more over here. Mulberry, black cherry, wild black cherry mixed in. They're at least off the lawn. And I got plans today. We're going to run saw. So I wanted to do a quick demo before I get absolutely gross and set you up on the tripod. But I've got a piece of mulberry here that's going to have to get cut into 3. A piece of wild black cherry behind it. This is the actual edge of my lawn right in here. And then this is the other contents of the chestnut oak and the red oak that Mike Maloney and his buddies brought me. And that stuff's sitting here. It's been here a few weeks. The grass is actually growing up through it, and I am embarrassed. But between moving Brianna into college, dealing with Hope, and bucking up one afternoon just before we had a storm, I was able to get that pile over there all at least stacked on pallets. This stuff all here is just literally on grade, so we need to get moving on it. But my intention is to get the AXIS, which is over yonder, pulled out on a Saturday morning when I can pull that machine out right up next to these rounds here and split and then stack, so I don't have to schlep these rounds back there to the AXIS. I can pull it out, do what I got to do, and then get it stacked up. So let me get this all warmed up, get you on the tripod, and I'll get right back to you. Stick around. Alright guys, so that's the balance of the wild black cherry and the mulberry that I didn't get cut up the weekend before we went to Hope. So I'm going to get this stacked up. The mulberry I'm cutting at 16 inches. I've got plenty of mulberry at a 14-inch smoker length put up, ready to go. I've got tons of it. I have a couple guys that have discovered it, and they're, you know, sampling some and using a little bit here and there. But I've got a ton stacked up in milk crates at 12 to 14 inches. So I chose to cut this stuff at 16. I'm gonna put it up and sell it next fall as heating wood. Mulberry burns ridiculously hot, hotter than oak. The pecan, the mulberry, their BTU values are like 27 million, where red and white oak is like 24 million. Then I moved the perfect stick down to 14. This wild black cherry, I'm gonna slab off the outsides, leave a little bit of material, use it as pit wood, stove wood, etc. And the centers of this will be barkless, skinless cherry splits that I need to put up because I'm getting a little light on cherry. And that was the fortunate part, that when Wayne was here the last time, dropping off this red oak back here, I mean, that stuff goes 16, 18 inches in diameter. Probably about, 16. There's probably an 18 on the end over there. He told me he did not want to run that stuff through his chipper. He felt guilty because it was so straight and it was so pretty, and he was in the area, so he thought of me. And while I was here, I said to him, hey, if you ever get any cherry, I'm getting a little light on cherry. And Wayne remembered me. So kudos to Wayne. Kudos to Mike Maloney with connecting me to Wayne. I can't ask for a better tree service. These guys back the stuff in, they dump it off at tree length. I can bucket to the size that I need. We don't have crazy lengths all over the place. So let me get these moved out of the way. I'm gonna set up 16 inches, put you in time lapse, and we're gonna have a go at some of this oak and see how far we can get. Then this afternoon I need to stop and go drain down the pool and get that sucker winterized. I promised my wife I would get that done today. So plenty to be done. Stick around, we'll get right back to you. Alright guys, welcome back. So I think we're going to call it for today. I was cutting some of that red oak that Wayne had left me. And on a recent video, I pointed out some orange crayon that he had marked on there and said, hey, watch out for that step. Well, guess what? I went over about 6 inches from the step and was cutting through it and hit metal. And I wiped out the chain. And we've got quite a bit done, so I decided I'm going to call it for today. And I couldn't tell you how many tanks of fuel I went through. I've got quite a bit of rounds stacked up. I'm hanging out in the shade here behind my woodshed. So let me take you over and show you what we got done for today and what's left for the next episode. All right, guys, so here's the carnage of what we got through. There's still a few pieces of chestnut oak here and a piece of, looks like standing dead red. This is all chestnut that's live. And then I've got two other reds back here. They're behemoths. They're probably 20 inches in diameter. Bark is falling off. And then this sucker that's standing up is the one that I hit. And I should have known when we saw that mark right there with the black that there was metal. There's the crayon that Wayne marked for me. And the step was over here. And it penetrates right there. So I went down past the arm and started cutting over there and went this way and got partway through it and hit metal. And then I was able to get through that side, but then I wiped out the chain. So that piece is half cut through. This piece up here, we're probably going to just forego, put it in the burn pile. or take it to the landfill, because I'm not about to waste another chain trying to cut through that sucker. So, but over here behind me is the standing stump that I've yet to tackle. I'll do that when I'm fresh someday, next Saturday maybe. And then we've got all this chestnut and all this red stacked up. There's a 40 by 48 pallet under there and 2 generator pallets over here, half-size pallets that I got doubled up. And we got all these rounds cut and stacked, plus the mulberry. I had to noodle that bad boy to get it up there on top of the pile. And those are the ones that I cut. And then the black cherry is up here. So pretty successful day, I think. Let me get back in the shade. The shadows are terrible. I got a 2-day facial shadow going on. I don't shave on the weekend, so forgive me, I'm a little gray in the face. But that's what we got going on. Thanks a lot, everybody, for sticking with me to the end. I'm going to get in the shade here and sit down on a bucket. So if you like this kind of stuff, I am soaked in sweat. Whew. It wasn't quite so hot when I started, but I'm feeling it now. So until next time, guys, get outside, get cutting. Take big pieces of wood, make little pieces of wood. It all burns. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.